Chapter 11 File Management. First of all, Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Hello everyone, I am Mrs. Sabah Abdul Wahab and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Our journey through Cambridge IGCSE ICT Paper 2 starts today. We'll begin with one of the most important practical topics in the syllabus, file management. In this lesson, you will learn how to turn a messy collection of digital files into a well-organized workspace using the same skills required in the Cambridge practical exam. I'll also share useful tips and tricks that can help you work faster, avoid common mistakes, and score the highest possible marks in Paper 2. Now let's understand the difference between a file and a folder. Take a look at the left side of the screen. We have a file. An example of a file is homework.docs. A file is a single item that stores information such as text, images, videos, or programs. So whenever you create a Word document, save a picture, or download a video, you are working with a file. Now let's look at the right side. We have a folder. An example is ICT course work. A folder is a container used to organize and store files and even other folders. Think of a folder as a storage box. Instead of keeping everything scattered across your computer, you can place related files together inside one folder. Now let's focus on the key rule at the bottom of the slide. A folder can contain many files, but a file cannot contain another file. This is a very important point, so make sure you remember it. Let me make it even simpler. Files store information. Folders store files. That's it. If you can remember these two sentences, you will never confuse file and folders again. Let's move on to the next slide. Now, what is a file extension? Let's look at this example. my_project.docs. The first part, my_project, is simply the file name, which tells you exactly what your file is about. The second part, .docs, is a file extension. It is usually 3 or 4 letters, and it tells your computer exactly which software program it needs to use to open the file. But here is a golden exam rule. Always avoid using spaces or special characters like slashes, question marks, or asterisks when naming your files. Keeping names clean prevents file errors and ensures you get full marks. Now let's learn about generic file formats. These are also known as standardized file formats because many different software applications can open them. Let's compare the two types shown on the screen. On the left, we have a package-specific format. This type of file is designed to work with a particular software application. As you can see, it is incompatible with other software, which means another program may not be able to open it correctly. Now look at the right side. Here we have a generic format. Unlike package-specific formats, generic formats are universally readable across different platforms and devices. This means you can share the file with someone even if they don't have the same software that you used to create it. Now let's answer the first question. What are generic file formats? They are file formats designed to be read by different software applications, regardless of the manufacturer. So, why do we use them? Because they make sharing file much easier. For example, if you create a document on your computer, but your friend used different software, saving the file in a generic format allows both of you to open it without any problems. Finally, let's look at some common examples. CSV is used for data tables. TXT is used for plain text. PDF is commonly used for documents and should not be easily edited. RTF stores formatted text while remaining compatible with the many word processors. Exam tip. In the Cambridge exam, always choose a generic file format when the question asks you to share a file with users who may have different software, okay? Now let's move on to the next file formats. Now that we understand what a file extension is and why generic file formats are important, let's look at some of the most common file extensions. On the left, we have .txt, which stores plain text without formatting. It's one of the simplest file types and can be opened by almost any text editor. Next is .rtf or rich text format. Unlike a text file, it supports basic formatting such as different fonts, bold text, and colors while remaining compatible with many word processors. Below that we have .csv, which stands for comma separated value. This format is commonly used to store tables of data, making it easy to exchange information between spreadsheets and database applications. In the middle column, you will find image formats like .jpg or JPEG, which stands for Joint Photographic Group, is one of the most popular formats for digital photos because it keeps the file size relatively small. And .png, which stands for Portable Network Graphics, is another image format, but unlike JPG, it supports transparent backgrounds and making it ideal for logos and graphics. And .gif or GIF, which stands for graphics interchange format, is mainly used for simple animations and moving images that you often see on websites or social media. Now let's move to multimedia files. like .mp3, which stands for Moving Pictures Experts Layer 3, is used for audio, while .mp4, which stands for Moving Pictures Experts Layer 4, is commonly used for video because it can store both sound and moving images in a single file. Finally, on the right, we have some web and document formats like .html or HTML, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language, is used to create the structure of web pages, and .css, which stands for Cascading Style Sheet, controls the appearance of those web pages, including colors, fonts, and layout. And finally, .pdf or portable document format is one of the most widely used generic file formats. It allows documents to be viewed on almost any computer while preserving their original layout. Exam tip: you don't need to memorize every extension. Instead, focus on knowing what type of data each extension stores and when it should be used. Because this are the questions that frequently appear in the Cambridge IGCSE ICT exam. Let's continue to the next. Now knowledge check time, and here is a Cambridge question. Name 3 examples of generic image file formats and contrast their specific use cases. 3 marks. The answer: .jpg, Joint Photographic Expert Group, uses lossy compression, ideal for still photographs, doesn't support transparency. 2. .png, Portable Network Graphics, uses lossless compression, ideal for internet graphics, supports transparent background. 3. .gif or GIF, graphics interchange format, support simple moving images and animations unlike JPG or PNG. And here is another question. Name 3 examples of generic text file formats. 3 marks. 1. .csv, comma separated values. 2. .text or txt, text file. And 3. .rtf, rich text format. The last one. Explain what is meant by a generic file format. 1 mark. The answer: a file format that can be opened and read by different software across different platforms. B. Write down a list of the file formats below that are generic file format. And here's some of the extensions. You have to choose from them. So the answer: .txt and .csv and .jpg and .pdf. Now let's look at hierarchical folder structures. Think of your computer like a well-organized warehouse. Everything starts with the drive, such as drive C. Inside the drive, you create folders like documents, and inside those folders, you can create more folders such as schoolwork, personal, and photos. You can even organize your schoolwork into subjects like ICT, math, and English. This structure is called hierarchical folder structure because folders are organized in levels. So, why do we need this? It helps us find files quickly without searching, save work logically to reduce clutter, and keep old versions separate from final versions. A well-organized folder structure saves time, reduces mistakes, and makes your work much easier to manage, especially during the Cambridge practical exam. Hierarchical folder structures. As you get more files, you need a system to find them years later. A hierarchy is a system of folders inside folders, subfolders. Like this example. The root here, documents. Documents contains home and school as a subfolders. School has subfolders like math, English, and ICT. This logical structure makes it easy to save and locate specific disks quickly. And here's some of the exam questions. A student saves all their schoolwork in a single folder named stuff using file names like doc1.rtf and doc2.rtf. Explain 3 reasons why this approach to file management is ineffective. 3 marks. The answer, retrieval speed. Without hierarchical structure, categorizing by subject date, locating a specific file takes significantly longer. Identification. doc1.rtf is not a meaningful file name. The user must open the file to know what data is contains. Data loss. Saving files with generic names in a single directory like .rtf drastically increases the risk of accidentally overwriting older work. And here is another question. Describe the need for hierarchical file folder structure. 2 marks. The answer, to keep files organized in a logical way so they are easy to find later. 2, to separate different categories of work, like keeping school files separate from home files. And here's another one. State 2 reason why it is important to save files using a planned hierarchical folder structure. The answer, it makes it much easier to locate and find specific files quickly. 2, it keeps files organized so the computer doesn't get cluttered as the number of files increases. Reducing file size and compression. And here is an example. A large image or video file, and here is the process of compress. And here is the output compressed archive. Looks smaller than that one. Why do we compress files? Storage space. Files take up less room on your hard drive or cloud storage. Email limits. Many email providers block files that are too large to attach. Transmission speed. Smaller files download and upload much faster over a network. Data usage. Uses less mobile data when accessed on smartphones. Large digital files cause logistical bottlenecks. We must reduce file sizes to increase network transmission speeds and reduce the memory required for storage. But when is it necessary? When email size restrictions, when uploading to websites with strict limits, and reserving mobile data limits, and transfer over slow networks. And here's an example for network speed fast here, because this image compressed 5 megabytes image, and here is network speed slow because of this is a large image 50 megabytes. Here is two methods of size reduction. The first example, image editing or altering content, resizing or resampling. Reducing the total number of pixels here, 800 height and 600 width, down to 400 height and 300 width, which lower image quality. And cropping here, removing part of the image entirely, e.g. cropping out the blue sky above the clouds. Another way, file compression. Process using software to place files into a .zip or a .rar archive. Result, this mathematically reduces the bytes needed to store the data without altering the actual contents of or formatting يعني of the files within. Knowledge check. Explain two reasons why file compression is used when transferring files over the internet, and identify two generic compressed file formats. 4 marks. First, the reasons. Compressed file transmit faster, reducing the time required to upload and download data. 2. Transmission of smaller data files leads to fewer data packets transmitted, which can lead to fewer transmission errors. And two generic compressed file formats, .zip and .rar. Here is another question. Explain two reasons why file compression is used. 1. To reduce the time it takes to transmit files across a network or over the internet. 2. To reduce the amount of storage space the file take up on a hard drive. Transformation, proprietary versus generic. Data must often be repacked depending on its destination. Understanding when to use native application formats versus generic formats is crucial for digital distribution. And here is package specific proprietary formats and generic format. Here's examples. Docs for word processor like Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word, and XLSX for Excel, and ACCDB for database access. And here's examples of generic formats like .txt, .csv, and .rtf and .pdf. Software dependency here high requires the original specific software to open, and generic software dependency low can be opened by almost any basic software. The formatting here formatting retention maximum retains complex features, macros, and process layouts, and formatting retention here minimal except PDF often strips data down to plain text or basic tables. Best use case here active editing and internal team collaboration, and best use case here exporting data to share publicly important into different system or archive. Knowledge check. A user needs to send a text document to a colleague who uses a different unknown word processor. The user saves the file as a.bpdf to act as a generic text file. Explain why this is an error. 2 marks. Fact 1. A .pdf portable document format is a generic image document format, not a text file. Fact 2. The original document has been logged into an image representation while it is universally viewable. It is protected from editing, making it useless if the colleague needs to actually edit the text, and .rtf or .txt should have been used. And another question. Describe 2 different situations when computer files need to be compressed. 1. When sending an email attachment because email providers have strict file size limits, and when uploading an image to a website because smaller files increase the transmission speed and make the web page load faster. Assalamu alaikum.